up, guys? It is a great day, not just because it was pizza night tonight. Shout out to Charles. We had some great homemade pizza, but because we got some new kicks here in the office. Today, I got the SC Trainer V2 here. Long story short, I tried the SC Trainer V1, did not love it. I actually sent it back. It's one of the very few shoes, if not the only pair of running shoes I've ever returned. But we are now deep in marathon training season. This week is my down week, spending some time with the kids off of work for my day job. So this week is down, we're at only 75, but we're bumping back up to 100, 110 miles next week. And I've been holding about 100 miles per week for the past few months or so. So I've been leaning heavily on these plated shoes and high stack shoes for my marathon training rotation right now. This guy right here, specifically the Boston 12, has been an absolute workhorse. I put about 230, 250 miles on this in the past 2 months. And it's great, but it is a more speed oriented shoe for me. It does have a little bit of a firmer feel. So I went ahead and ordered the SC Trainer V2 as a less aggressive but plated training option to help take some of that burden off my legs and to help make these 110 mile weeks a little bit easier. So in this video, we're gonna dive into the SC Trainer V2 here, unbox it, take a little bit of a tour of the shoe, and I'll let you know how I plan to use the shoe, which is my newest plated marathon training shoe. Alright guys, before we get into it today, if you haven't checked out the Running Shoe Matcher tool yet, go to runningshoematcher.com. This is a really cool tool I built for you that matches you with the best shoe for you based on your goals and preferences. So you can go in there, answer 5 questions about what type of shoe you're looking for, whether you want a daily trainer, a tempo shoe, or a race day shoe, whether you like your shoes soft or firm, we'll match you with the best shoe for you. So it's live right now and it's free. You can check it out at runningshoematcher.com and I'll put a link in the description below. Alright, let's get into it. Here. Look at that. Fuel cell. I love that fuel cell foam. Woo. This is the beautiful New Balance Fuel Cell SC Trainer V2. One of the reasons I got this shoe, other than the fact that I've been looking for a new plated marathon training shoe, a new higher stack shoe to take some of that burden off my legs at this high mileage level, is because I saw this was on sale for $140. Now this typically retails for $180, while $140 is definitely not cheap by any means. That is a little bit of a better price than we see on any other plated training shoe, maybe except for the DV8 Nitro 2. So I was deciding between this actually and that Puma DV8 Nitro 2. I know a lot of you guys out there love that shoe. Curiosities, man, I know you've put hundreds of miles on that shoe, and I'm really hoping I can get one of those before the 3 comes out so I can do a comparison to the 2 and the 3, but they didn't have my size in the DV8 Nitro 2, so I went for the $140 deal on the SC Trainer here. So as I mentioned, the SC Trainer V1 didn't really work for me too well. I know a lot of people loved that shoe. It was one of the first training shoes when it came out in 2022 that put a plate in a more recovery style of application. So before that, the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 was a great fast training shoe that used a plate, but the SC Trainer V1 took the plated trainer category in a different direction, making it more viable for everyday miles and for slower miles. So V2 looks to build on that success of V1, but they have streamlined it just a little bit compared to that massive stack of foam that you saw in V1. That was an illegal shoe above 40 millimeters. This one is sitting at about 40 millimeters in the back here, which still is a huge stack of foam, but hopefully won't feel as unwieldy as that V1. That was the reason I didn't get along with it too well. It just felt like way too much foam underfoot, which is a feeling I can get in some max cushion shoes. I also didn't like the New Balance More V4 because of that. But since the More V4 and since the SC Trainer, I've had great luck with the New Balance shoes over the past year. Over the summer, I ran in the Rebel a ton. This was my speed day shoe over the summer when I wasn't running in plated shoes at all. This is what I did all of my race pace workouts in for my half marathon PR, which I raced in October. It's what I did all my speed work in at the track with my boy Cam. This is a great shoe, and I absolutely love the way that the fuel cell feels in the Rebel. So this shoe also uses fuel cell, but there are some things out there that suggest it might be a slightly different formulation than we see in the Rebel. And even if we compare these two up close, you can see that the foam looks a little bit different to the push test and to the eye test on these two shoes. So you can see in the Rebel here, the white foam has a little bit of a shiny sheen, and I can get my finger pretty deep into this foam. If you want to compare compare now to what we see in the SC Trainer V2 here. It doesn't have that same shiny sheen, but to me, it looks like a pretty different compound, and you'll see it's not as soft as that Rebel foam. It seems like I'm not really able to get my thumb as deep in it. So that's probably a good thing for me, that the foam in this doesn't seem like it's gonna be as soft as in that Rebel. This is a much higher stack, and with this carbon fiber plate, that's gonna add a little bit more stability to the shoe than we get from the Rebel. Now, the other New Balance shoe that I've had a lot of good experiences with over the past few months is the New Balance 1080 V13. Now, the 1080 here uses New Balance Fresh Foam. The Fresh Foam is New Balance's slow or everyday training foam, if you will, and the Fuel Cell that we see in the SC Trainer V2 is more of that fast, speed-oriented, bouncy foam. But this has been my favorite max cushion shoe, probably of all time, that I've ever run in. I absolutely love the New Balance 1080 feels. I was actually using this today just to run around the driveway with my daughter, and they just felt so good. They feel great for any type of activity you want to do. I absolutely love putting these on. So all of that is to say, my experience with the New Balance family over the past year or so has been that of comfort-oriented, great training shoes that have a really solid ride experience that fits the purpose of the shoe. That Rebel is supposed to be a fast, lightweight, no frills shoe. The 1080 is supposed to be a soft, cushioned, everyday running shoe for those slow miles. Both of those execute on those briefs perfectly. So how I'm hoping to use this SC Trainer V2 here is for my long runs, for any of those medium days where I'm going 10 to 14 miles. And I want something with just a little bit more fun in it than my Nike Vomero, which has been my everyday training shoe. I've done a few spotlight videos of that shoe. Believe the hype, the Vomero is a great training shoe. I absolutely love how that feels. That combination of ZoomX and Cushlon in that shoe makes for a really cushioned but also stable ride, and it has a great outsole there on the bottom to give some protection, and it's going to be a very durable shoe. Maybe the first shoe that I'll put up there in the 400 mile club. I think Adidas Boston 12, I'm also going to try to take it to the 400 mile club. All that being said, Vomero doesn't have the most stack in the forefoot, and it's not going to offer the same protection and speed assistance as a shoe like the SC Trainer here with this massive stack of fuel cell foam and the plate. Now, because I'm doing 100, 110 miles a week, that means I'm running anywhere from 10 to 14 times a week, depending on how many days I do doubles. And while my general guidance is that I do not like to use plated training shoes as daily trainers, and I'm not going to use this every day, I do think there's a place in our rotations, especially at this high mileage level when we're doubling a ton, for these plated training shoes to help us hit our mileage goals and to help us hit our pace goals while being able to recover quickly for our next training session. So that is one of the keys of marathon training, and where shoes like the SC Trainer V2 and the Boston 12 come in. These are great tools to help us reach our goals. Now, my marathon is in April, so I still have about 3 months left to get ready for it, and so a shoe like this is going to help me as I get into the next phase of my training. I was in a heavy aerobic base building cycle. I'm now going to start working some more lactate threshold. I'm now going to start do some more race pace specific workouts, and a key part of this training cycle is that I need to recover quickly so I can do a 12-mile aerobic session in the morning, and then do 8 miles in the afternoon, and then the next morning rip off 14 miles with 8 to 10 of those at marathon pace. So yes, that's possible if I were only using a shoe like the Nike Pegasus or the New Balance Rebel V3, but my body's not going to be able to recover as quickly, and there's a reason that shoes exist, and it's exactly for this purpose, to help us recover and to help us meet these aggressive, ambitious goals. So this is going to be one of the tools that helps me do that job. So over the past year, some other plated training shoes I've used include the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 and then the Adidas Boston 12, which I highlighted. So the Speed 3 is a shoe that I actually used as well for my Charlotte Marathon build in 2022. That was a different colorway, different shoe. It was the white and red version, and then that shoe actually had a slight defect in it, so they sent me this absolutely hideous all blue version. And anyway, this is a shoe that I have kind of a love-hate relationship with. It is really fun to run in, but it's not the most protective feeling despite the bouncy Piwa race day foam, despite the plastic plate. Sometimes it felt like it was bottoming out on me. Sometimes it felt like it just didn't have enough pep in there for me to hit my faster paces. I am 6'2", 160 pounds, so sometimes I can do well in these softer shoes, sometimes I can't, but overall, with 600 miles across 2 pairs of the Speed 3, great shoe, but wasn't exactly perfect for me as a plated training shoe. Ended up being a little too soft, especially as I started getting up to 18, 20-mile long runs. Now, the Adidas Boston 12 is a different story. This shoe is much firmer. It actually took me probably 50 to 70 miles to break in the shoe. I know my guy Midlife Runner just got this shoe as well and is having some struggles breaking it in. He says it's too firm. Midlife life, hold in there. I know you're gonna love this shoe once it breaks in. Also, try to run faster in the shoe, because anytime I put some pace in this up in that forefoot, when I'm running 6:30 pace or faster, which for me is marathon pace or faster, that's when the Boston 12 comes alive. So this is still gonna remain my more protective, higher stack workout shoe. And the SC Trainer V2 is gonna be more of that easy recovery plated shoe on those days where I need a little bit more assistance. Even just holding these in my hands, SC Trainer V2 feels much heavier than the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. Feels about the same as the Boston 12, but nowhere near as firm, just pushing the foam in here. The SC Trainer V2 feels much softer than both of the foams in the Boston 12, which will reflect in my use cases for these shoes. I'm not gonna attempt to do any aggressive workouts in the SC Trainer V2. That will remain with the Boston 12. So overall, I'm super excited to give the SC Trainer another shot. V1 was one of my least favorite shoes of all time, but with the changes they made streamlining the V2 and the different place that I'm at in my training right now, attacking some more mileage, I'm optimistic that this will find a home in my winter and spring marathon training rotation. So as I get into putting some more miles on the SC Trainer here, let me know in the comments what you want to know about this shoe. Let me know what points of comparison you want to see against the Speed 3 and the Boston 12. Also, let me know what plated training shoe I should add next as we get into 2024. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video.